All right, awfully, happy for our kids. Thanks to everybody that came out and supported our guys as we tried to get bowl eligible. We talked all week. Certainly the number 20, getting to the number 26 was a part of this. I really felt like it was even bigger than that. Those kids in that locker room, they stood tall and stood strong when other people ran or when things weren't well and things were tough. And they stayed together. They continued to battle. We found a way to keep the two streaks alive. Just awfully happy for them. I think it teaches them a great lesson about perseverance and dedication and togetherness. Just awfully happy for them and proud for them. Obviously for our seniors, the last time in Lane Stadium in such an odd type of game, just a non-traditional type of home game. But, happy we found a way to get it done.
Just, I know there are a lot of plays. It was a long game, but how much of a tone setter was Ricky Walker on the very first play, getting that turnover like that?
Well, I thought it was huge. It was a big turnover there in a game that, going into it was evenly matched. We certainly felt like that, like we were certainly prepared for a very difficult road. And I think we were right. That's a really talented, good football team that we played today. So, big time play, force a fumble, recover the fumble, and kind of set the tone.
Coach, you keep the bowl streak alive. You'll also get maybe 3 or 4 extra weeks of practice. How important is that practice for the bowl game and for the future?
Well, we'll not knowing what date we play and how many practices we're going to get. I think there's a couple things to that. One, we need the time in the weight room when we're not practicing. Like we won't practice during the week next week or this coming week, and we need that time. We're such a young team that the extra developmental time is going to be huge for us in terms of practicing. Obviously, Ricky Walker doesn't need a lot, but there are a lot of freshmen out there that certainly do. It's going to be big for them. And I totally lost my train of thought on what I was going to say after that. So getting a chance for those guys to practice and stay together. I really do think this group enjoys each other's company. I think sometimes when you go through hard times, it unifies people or divides them, and they're unified. And I think them getting to spend a few more weeks together. Selfishly, I get to be around Ricky Walker as a coach for a few more weeks, and I think it's great for everybody.
Hey, Justin, you mentioned persistence earlier. It's kind of defined Ryan Willis. Kind of how appropriate was the game he had today to kind of get you into that 26th consecutive bowl?
Yeah, just proud of him. The thing about Ryan is he lays it all on the field. He really does. He plays as hard as he can play. He made some plays for us, particularly in the first half, that ended up being, really kind of set the tone and established momentum in the football game. And I think it speaks a lot to his character and his work ethic. It's a kid that came in and was a backup and kept plugging away, kept trying to learn, kept trying to do the right thing, and got his opportunity. And it's nice to see him have success. I often say in coaching, one of the neatest things about coaching is watching the kids have success that have worked so hard to try and get where they're at.
Justin, you mentioned how this team remained unified instead of splintering. How much of a chore was that as a coaching staff, or was it internal in that locker room?
Well, I think ultimately the kids have to make that choice. And I think it's a great mix of older guys that have endeared themselves to a group of younger guys. The younger guys are smart enough to watch and observe how they go about their business on a daily basis, and want those guys being the older guys, to go out the right way. And, coupled with a younger group that has kind of, a few of them have kind of stepped into roles here that have helped our football team. You know, Dax and Trey are the first two that come to mind. There's more than that. Christian Darrisaw is a true freshman that's played all year, but you know, those guys have kind of are in the process of establishing themselves with some leadership qualities that I think has gelled together nicely with the older guys.
With Damon still limited, and then Nijman, is he out for an extended period of time, or do you think you might get him back for a bowl game?
I hope we'll have him back for the bowl game. I think that's the plan. Damon was full go, and then about at some point during the game wasn't. So, you know, obviously through this time we'll hopefully get both those guys back healthy, ready to go.
A lot of dominoes would have to fall, but I'm just curious, would you be opposed to facing, if the dominoes fell right, Memphis, your former team, in a bowl? There's, you know, possibility. Would that be something you would want to shy away from just because you have those connections still to the roster and things like that, or is that something you would get a kick out of or enjoy?
Oh, my gut reaction, being 100% honest with you, is there's so many of those people over there and those kids over there that we recruited and we were involved in their life. I'm not on a quest to be on the opposite side of the field with those guys. I'm really not. You know, if it came down to that, obviously Whit and I'd talk, and the powers that be, and we'd work everything out. But it's not something I'm seeking.
Justin, after that 5-yard penalty that gave you a first down when you punted, it looked like you got the offense together and gave them an earful. Was that just the jockey going to the whip a little bit, just to make sure you guys got across the finish line
Well,
there?
I was just pissed off, to be honest with you, because we had, you know, we should have put the game away several times. We dropped the ball wide open in the end zone. We don't, or just short of the end zone. We have a procedure penalty. You know, we move the ball, and can't maintain our discipline level. So that was just, I mean, we got a second, third, fourth, fifth life right there. Can we please go take advantage of it?
It was kind of a popular theme of fans and media this week of, would you guys be able to get up after being so emotionally high for UVA? Was there a point in the week that was no longer a concern for you, or was it you find out at kickoff?
The first day, I felt really good. I really did. I mean, I didn't know what the score was going to be. I knew we were playing a talented team, but it wasn't going to be that we weren't ready to play. Like, I felt I mean, we kind of are what we are. Like, there's a lot of imperfections out there on the field. But as far as being emotionally ready to play, I didn't have any question.
And Ryan Willis, in terms of his development, week to week, do you find more things he's comfortable with and you're comfortable with him doing, or has it been pretty much kind of what you expected week in, week out?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that we're heaping a ton more on him. You know, trying to continue to give him an opportunity to go execute, I think, is kind of the thought process, you know. And, you know, and you all can see at times it's, you know, he's got some talent out there throwing the ball. And, you know, continuing to focus on executing on a consistent basis has been our biggest point of emphasis. And so, no, we haven't put a tremendous amount more on him, no. That would be the short answer.
As you said, an unusual game. Did you notice, like early on in the first quarter, you're out there in the fog and the stadium's kind of half full? What was that like? Was it markedly and strikingly different to you on the sideline?
I would say this. First of all, we talked about it during the week. Like, I didn't really know what to expect, and that's what I told the team. I said, we got to be prepared for whatever. It's just a unique situation. You know, we play for Virginia Tech and the Hokie Nation, but those kids play for each other first and foremost. And so I kind of tried to set the tone through the week that I don't know what it's going to look like. I have no clue. Now, I would say it was pretty loud, though. You know, like the people that came out and supported our kids and went after it when, you know, particularly early in the game in that first half. I mean, it certainly wasn't exactly the same, but it was similar.
The sweep play, you've been kind of running with the receivers and Grimsley and Turner. How much does that open things up? It seems, you know, the McLeese play seemed to be kind of directly related to that, them watching Turner. How much do you think that is giving you another look offensively and had some success?
Sure. Well, Trey has been really productive at that stuff. Terrius, early in the year, was pretty productive. You know, as productive as we've been since we've been here with that stuff. And I think it's a big part of it. You know, it just that motion and the speed of that motion and the adjustments, and then the other things you can do in terms of, you know, the first touchdown pass we threw of the year against Florida State was off that exact motion, and we got Damon singled up and threw a fade for a touchdown. I mean, there's just so many things that come off of that give you opportunities to take advantage. That I think it's kind of a, but that part's got to work. You know, you got to be able to get the ball to the perimeter to make everything else work.
Third straight season now that you've had a different quarterback throw for 20-plus touchdowns. What do you think that kind of says about the system you have in place where you can plug in a guy and still execute year by year?
I don't know. I didn't know that. Hadn't thought of that. Well, I think, I think Brad has a unique gift of crafting the offense to give the quarterback, whoever he is and whatever his skill set is, the opportunity to succeed. And that's a lot easier said than done. And, you know, it's a credit to Ryan and Brad who's coaching him, continuing to put him in positions to have success within his skill set. And I'd like to not rotate those guys every single year. You know, I'd like to have the same guy in there playing on a little more consistent basis.
Anybody else for Coach? One more, David?
Along those lines, how much, if at all, did you have to alter offensive approach after Josh went down against Old Dominion and Ryan was clearly going to be the long-term starter?
I don't know. It seems like it's been so long ago now. I can't remember what we looked like that much back then. But, I mean, there's certainly a little bit of change. You know, Josh had been a starter for an entire year and done quite a bit at the line of scrimmage for us. And we backed off of that a little bit, just trying to get Ryan comfortable so that he could go play. And, you know, we trying to figure out who the guys we're trying to get the ball to. You know, Dalton's emerged as a guy that you like flipping the ball in the flat to because he, you know, tries to run everybody over, and Peoples has been pretty productive. And then the emergence of our wideouts been pretty cool. So, no, I would say it took a little bit of thinking and really kind of hashing things out in terms of what we were going to ask them to do, you know, right out of the box.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.